Well, good Tuesday morning to you. You've got Dean here today to be doing your daily devotional with. Now, why? Why am I talking like this? Well, that's a very good question, and I thought maybe I'd give you the answer. See, I wanted to start today with a few Irish sayings that they seem to be rather helpful, so to say. So I wanted to give them to you as a way to start your day with, so to speak. So let me just read them to you. May the Lord keep you in his hand and never close his fist too tight. I like that one. And may the good Lord take a liking to you, but not too soon. And now this was supposed to be aired on Monday, and it wasn't, and I do apologize for that. But this one would have made more sense yesterday, and I'm thinking, John, you might be appreciating this one more than anybody else. But may your coffee be strong and your Mondays be short. Now, why did I start today with sayings like that? Well, it's a good question. They made me think, and sayings like that can make you think too. And the whole idea to sayings like that and proverbs and things that we've heard throughout our life is to, well, they're to help guide us, give a little bit of wisdom in a way that you're probably going to remember it and maybe have it sink into the old coconut there and help you out. Well, I do have a proverb that I'd really like to read to you, and it's out of the book of Proverbs, and it is a wonderful one to remember. It's Proverbs 3, verses 5 and 6, and it goes like this. Trust in the Lord with all your heart, and do not lean on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will make straight your paths. Well, I like that one because it talks about leaning on God, and when you do that, he will help you, guide you through your life. Now, that's a really wonderful saying, and it's something that we really should take abide by or listen to, but sometimes things are easier said than done. So I want to put it into a little more of a practical point of view, if I could say it like that. I want to tell you a story. This story takes place, again, on the dairy farm that I used to work on, and I learned a lot of things on the farm, and a lot of things about cows, and I won't explain them all on here, but this is the thing I want to tell you about. A cow, when she has a calf, they come out and they're not that big. They're actually quite tiny. So on the farm that we used to, that I used to work on, whenever a heifer would have a cow or have a calf, we would let that calf stay with the mom for a day or two to get on its feet and start getting nursing with the mother and whatnot. And then we would take that calf out to the calf hutches, which were these beautiful little homes that were made out into the in the drive shed, specifically just for calves, where they had their own space, fresh straw, someplace warm and safe, and we would feed them out there and keep them looked after out there. And we'd only give them their own mother's milk so that they would continue to have that. Now, after a calf had been out in a calf hutch for a little while, a few weeks or so, they would grow, and calves grow rather quickly. If you've never been on a farm before to know that, they really do grow quickly. So you can carry them out to the calf hutch, but you're not carrying it back. Well, we have these things on the farm. They're called halters, and maybe you guys have heard of it before, but you wrap it around the ear, goes down over the nose, and then it's got a rope on it that you just lead the cow with. Now, I learned in my first outing trying to bring a calf from the calf hutch back into the barn that if you put the halter on it, number one, it's really difficult to make it go on because it's designed for an adult cow, not a baby one. And if you do happen to get it on and you start to try to lead the calf with a rope, they become a 4-footed anchor. They dig in, and you're plowing the ground with this thing as you're playing tug-of-war with this little beast that is humbling because they can make you realize how weak you really are, and they don't want to go anywhere. So I'm out in the barn, or in the drive hut shed one day, trying to get this calf in for my first time, and the farmer walks over to me kind of shaking his head, and he says, don't do it that way, you're never going to get anywhere. I'm like, well, I'm not lifting it in, so how are we supposed to do this? He said, take the halter off, stick your finger in its mouth. I'm sorry, I think I heard something silly there. Did you say stick my finger in its mouth? He just kind of looked at me and said, yes. And I said, wouldn't it bite my finger off? He kind of laughed and he said, have you ever seen a cow smile? got thinking about that. Cows don't have teeth on the top at the front. They've only got teeth in the bottom, and the top part of their mouth is rather soft. So no, I've never seen a cow smile. That was his point. So, you know what? The farmer knew more than I did. He's obviously done this more times than I have. So I begrudgingly took my index finger and put it in the cow's mouth, expecting pain, and to my surprise, the cow started sucking on my finger. Because whenever you put something in the cow's mouth when they're that young, they think it's feeding time, and they instinctively start to suck. So I'm having this cow on my finger, sucking my finger, and I said to the farmer, well, now what are we doing? He said, walk. So I put my hand behind me, and I start walking towards the barn, and doesn't the little beast just keep following me? And I walked this little calf all the way into the barn, into the stall that it was supposed to go, took my finger out. It was rather slimy by this point, but it was no problem at all. It was so easy. Why? Because number one, I listened to the farmer who knew more than I did, and he gave me advice to follow. And number two, the calf stopped trying to do its own thing and gave in to what I was doing, and that turned out to be the thing that was best for it. Kind of sounds like the proverb I said. We listen to God, we rely on Him, and He will guide our steps. Sounds good to me. That's what I wanted to bring to you guys today. Now, it's not a very long video today, and I do apologize for that, but I think that that's an important thing that we do need to remember is if we stop leaning on our own understanding about how we see things in this world and how our experiences have guided us so far, and start leaning on some of the wisdom that God has already shown us, then maybe, just maybe, things might start going a little bit better for us. Maybe our Father knows more than we do. Maybe He has the knowledge that we don't, and all we need to do is stop acting like the calf when you're trying to be pulled, and just give in, listen to God, and go with Him. Hope that makes sense. Want you guys to have a wonderful rest of the day. Again, if there's anything that I've said that you want to question me about or talk to me about, I welcome that with open arms. Come talk to me or Jer anytime, and God bless you.